Hello. Can you believe we are here at the grand finale of part three of the 2022 Dancing Poetry Festival? I'm Natika Angley, and this is Richard Angley.
Thank you, Natika. And again, Artist Embassy International and the Dancing Poetry Festival present works for the purpose of understanding and peace through the universal language of the arts.
We welcome you and this celebration of the 29th Annual Dancing Poetry Festival. This festival is the only festival of its kind that we know of that honors dance and poetry in unity and the possible inspirations that can make it occur. We are so happy to have you here with us, and we encourage everyone to enjoy the idea of poetry and dance as a unified art form and the excellence of poetry that shares the earthly experience and the poetic opportunity that expresses our universe of inspiration.
We thank you. We thank the poets and we thank the audience for this opportunity to share the amazing creative possibilities that inspire, inform, encourage, move, and connect us.
Please enjoy the show. Please send us your creations to our search for the poetry for the next Poetry Festival, which will be our 30th annual, held in 2023.
And now, please enjoy the award-winning poetry, poetry news, and dancing poetry of the 29th year of our Dancing Poetry Festival. Yay!
Yay! Enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, the poet and the dancer in You Are There.
You're there. It was not the waves, warm hands caressing your body, flipping a turning tide onto you. It was not the Gulf heat curling you into its spell. No, it had to be the clatter of shells, tumbling and twirling all about you, whirling your senses through the void, out of all these seas in the galaxy, beyond bright Venus, beyond Neptune, beyond all this glittering vastness, combing us within its stare. Ah, there, it has all become us, and we have become its clattering shell, its form, its very wear and tear. We've become it. We're there.
The big stage. The big stage is set. Curtain ready to open. Stage design created. Lighting on go. Content and context may change the steps, phrases, words, as well as the script. The as you wish ad lib is not invited, but always expected. Thought and perception are still shading. Fantasy and reality are cordial to each other, trying to maintain some mutual respect. All are ready to receive, calculate, and assimilate. An awareness blossoms in this opportunity to make impossibility transcend to the realms of possibility. Some have arrived seeking the prize, the great reward of an aha moment, a peak experience. Words move in the light fantastic, weave an image, express and impress. The universe smiles and expands the house, opens the doors to our theater of the timely and timeless. The dance of thriving, surviving, seeing, and believing. The cosmos calls to broaden the landscape. We assemble for the artistry of being. The universe smiles and expands the house, opens the doors to our theater of the timely and timeless, the dance of thriving, surviving, seeing, and believing. The cosmos calls to broaden the landscape. We assemble for the artistry of being. We assemble for the artistry of being.
Hello again. We're here with artist and writer Tanya Joyce. And she's
Hello.
going to tell us, oh, yay, good to see you, Tanya. You're going to tell us some more about the approach to Artist Embassy through the arts and the Dancing Poetry Festival, about your book maybe, and some of the drawings that help tell us all about these things. Give us a hand. Go ahead and start.
Okay. Well, I'll try to follow what you just said. About Artist Embassy, I had the privilege of proofreading the draft of Althea Youngman, the founder, of her memoir, and
Okay.
I found it tremendously interesting because of the different things she went through and the fact that she actually talked with Mahatma Gandhi and he encouraged her in the endeavor to start Artist Embassy. I was especially aware of that the other night when I was watching a rerun of Antiques Roadshow, and there was
Mhm.
a photograph that Margaret Bork White took of Gandhi sitting in meditation with his spinning wheel. And it was supposed to be the first time a woman had been able to talk with him like that. However, it was 2 or 3 years after Althea had talked with him. So that is just an example of there's always something to be discovered newly in life. And then I can't remember the second part of what you said. Something about Artist Embassy, and then
How you, especially your work, relates to furthering understanding and goodwill
okay,
through the imagery, the poetry, your book writing. You have such a vast amount of material, but I was hoping that you could pinpoint some of it, especially the drawings that you might share with us.
yeah, yeah. So just as a overall thing, I'm a painter, do drawing as well as painting, and I write
And a highly
poetry.
awarded poet and artist.
Yes, yes, and I write poetry and nonfiction prose. And I like mixing the arts together, so dance has come to be part of that. The new venture I have with Artist Embassy is a book called um, Meeting the Muses. And I'm very eager to show in that muses are everywhere and all time. They don't always have a 5th century BC flowing Greek robe. One of
Thank you, thank you. Carry on.
my favorite images of that, I first came to San Francisco in 1959, and through friends I got to know the poet Philip Whalen, and he had a wonderful poem. He wrote 2 poems I know of about muses, and one of them, he is at a cocktail party, and across a crowded room he sees his muse. So by the time he makes his way through the crowd over there, she's gone. So he sees her in another part of the room, tries this again, and the muse always escapes him. So clearly when he wrote the poem, he found the muse again, but it describes a situation totally in modern dress, where inspiration, which is what the muses are all about, is eluding him. And he thinks as he's making his way across the room and he's helping himself to a few snacks, he thinks to himself, maybe if I wasn't blowing peanut breath in your face, you'd be nice to me. For the purposes of the poem, it doesn't work, but the poem itself stuck in my mind for a very long time. And I like that idea. The muses are always present to us. Alameda's first poet laureate, Mary Rudge, started a program for modern muses where she crowned 15 muses of modern topics such as translation and so forth and so on, different languages, as her view toward what we can do to bring that image of muses into our current time. And the statewide California poetry group has taken that story that somebody sent out an email and asked for stories about Mary. So I sent that, and he said that was going to be published as part of their comments on the different chapters of poetry groups in the state. And of course, that's just a tiny bit. My current project that works together with the book on muses is called A Museum is a House of the Muses.
Wow.
Because museum in the 18th century, people were all gaga about classical Greece. It was just being rediscovered. The word museum came up as putting together a couple of Greek words to make that. So I started really thinking about that and realizing I grew up with a museum 2 blocks from my house. We did work at the Alameda Museum for 6 years. Every January was devoted to Artist Embassy, art, dance, music, so forth. And I taught for a while when the DeYoung Museum in San Francisco had an art school. I taught there. So part of what I did was, this is my first picture. This is my House of the Muses.
Oh, how
My
great.
first one, combination of Chinese inspiration, and then the two botanical things on the side are pomegranates from European watermarks in paper. So to include the whole world. One of the first things I did in this regard is a series of collages that were about ancient dance. And this is one of them. This is
Oh,
from the Harappa culture in the Indus Valley, approximately 4,000 years ago. And there's all kinds of pictures of dancers with joined hands in the, line dancing of some kind. And I love this one because of the hair. And
Remarkable.
I took images from those ancient things and simplified them so that it was the element of dance that showed through. And this camera on this computer is doing well enough with this that I want to show you the first one I did, how I got interested in that collage series was an image like this. The image that is in white, there's a sculpture. I thought, I have seen this at the Dancing Poetry Festival. It is a traditional movement of entry when people are doing classic belly dance.
Oh,
Only
wow.
it is 2,500 years old. So how long have people been doing things that we can see in modern settings?
And these are used as illustrations in your new book.
Artist statement. I am a crazy quilt, a pattern of crackle glazes filled with electric charge behind spring flowers. I am scraps of velvet, snippets of desire, joined in ragged shapes, edged with scallops, fingering my life. A saunterer, excited by stillness, a talker, excited by listening, a lover of moonlight, warm in the sunshine, a poet who paints, a painter who writes. I am a wailing wall with prayers on scraps of paper stuck into crevices, pockets, and backpacks. Hopes waiting to take root and bloom. I am a scrapbooker, a clipper of articles, a cutter of tape and ribbon. I am a ribbon of starlight. Once you catch me, what do you have? I am a crazy quilt, a chalker of hopscotch, a splasher of ink, a maker of skeletons. I am not here or there, not playing hide and seek out there. Going somewhere, following scraps of paradise. I am a crazy quilt.
I'm so happy to be here to introduce my co-founder. and my favorite poet, Richard Angley. Let's give him a hand. Take it away, Richard.
Thanks, Natika. It gives me great pleasure to say this is our 29th year of the Dancing Poetry Festival. And it's an honor that you are all winners and will be here to read for this YouTube version of the festival. It would have been nice to have it at the Legion of Honor. However, it's an indoor theater and we still have a bunch of COVID around. And they said if we could postpone until next year, which would be our 30th anniversary, it would also be for the Legion of Honor, their 100th anniversary.
Now we have to say we
So,
like
We have
this,
something in the future that's coming.
but we also see that we're really loving the Zoom so much because we get to see more of you. Can I introduce? I really would like to introduce too, because Richard, thanks for telling him about the palace. We love the palace. It's just it's harder to get there. But now I'd like you to meet the person who has let you know that you're the winner. The Secretary of Artists Embassy International, Cynthia Levinson. Let's give Cindy a big hand. Yes. And her son, Arthur Levinson, who's our fantastic videographer, head of the department, and our editor. So we're so happy to have you guys here today. Thanks for being here with us, with all our wonderful poets.
Thank you.
And of course, it's our honor to introduce our Artists Embassy Vice President, our webmaster, and the most fabulous contest chair we can ever hope for, Judy Harden Chung.
Yay, Judy.
Judy will be our hostess for this evening. So take it away, Judy.
Thank you very much, Richard. You always make me sound so exalted. Our first reader in this set of poetry reading is going to be Mary Ann Lyons from Yountville, California, reading Dancing for a Dime. Mary Ann?
Oh, thank you. I'm Mary Ann Lyon, and I'm reading Dancing for a Dime. I am Montana Dawn, satin costume, robin egg blue. Lace clouds trim my collar, statue still, tender 5-year-old feet, glued to waxed linoleum, wait for ruckus music to begin. I am sun gilded kitchen, blushed salmon feet, golden filament brush, freshly painted ruby nails, through open French doors into narrow living room, a menagerie of eyes wait for my dance. I am an overused record, needle drops, tune erupts, piano chases violins, woodwinds flutter behind, a current pulses through me. I am scamped of a puppet, tethered wrists frisk up, arms grab quick turns, black tap shoes swivel, shuffle ball change. I smile dimple deep. I am a dime for a dance, dad's smiling eyes moist, approving looks dangle, too young for a coin purse. Auntie offers me a dime. I cast a stare at lone nickel in little sister's palm. Heavy tang catches in my throat. Wise was hers bigger than mine. She didn't even dance.
Very nice. I remember not quite dancing for a dime, but I remember the younger days when we wondered why a dime was more than a nickel. because obviously a nickel is bigger. Our next reader is Garrett Murphy, Oakland, California, reading Riding on the Shingling Stroll. Garrett?
And as Judy said, my name is Garrett Murphy and I'm from Oakland. And the piece is called Riding on the Shingling Stroll. Rock it down, go. Rock-a-ding on the shingling stroll. Pumping on, move. Pumping away on the shingling stroll. Riding away on the marathon, rushing along with the other riders. Rocketing along the pathway galore, rushing to compete for the magic prize. Rock it down, go. Rock-a-ding on the shingling stroll. Pumping on, move. Pumping away on the shingling stroll, keeping eye on the fellow riders, some of whom you may do know. Mutual respect is the order of the day, for any could make difference for you. Rock it down, go. Rock-a-ding on the shingling stroll, pumping on, move. Pumping away on the shingling stroll. Road and much more road do lead eventually to outcome, yet a truly excellent outcome should be that all be winners and no one loses. Rock it down, go. Rock-a-ding on the shingling stroll. Pumping on, move. All should win at the shingling stroll.
All right. Okay, thank you. Next, we have Mary Lindbergh from Bronx, New York, with two poems, The Poem of Dance and Circle Dance in Bulgaria. Mary?
Thank you. The silent poem of dance. He pressed her to his breast in the shameless, indecent, whirling dance of the Germans. A gilded age carousel never stops, gliding to calliope sounds. Painted horses, standers, jumpers. Two Viennese ladies select a wide Palomino seat for the ride. Their hands grasp swirling shawls as they rise, fall to waltz music of Johann Strauss. They gossip about last night's ballroom dance, of swiftly whirling couples, scent of flirtation, taste of temptation. Dashing uniformed officers held their waists, gloved hands, admired satin sheen colors, lace holding up bare shoulders. Locked looking in candlelight's blur, language of eyes, timid smiles, blushes, faint perfume, tender touch. Couples swayed to the triple time of Strauss with sliding grace, to open promenade, even a daring turn under a partner's arm. The roots of life's gamble in love bloom in the brisk three-beat rhythm of waltz music. In wondrous wheels of poised emotion lies the gyre of eternal romance, the secret silent poem of dance.
Thank you.
Okay, Mary, your second poem, Circle Dance in Bulgaria.
Yes, Circle Dance in Bulgaria. It's Chalens Farm in the Pirin Mountains, Bulgaria. After summer rain, we travel on roads that belly dance on terraced mountains. Blue spruce needles surrender droplets. Mists float toward us like friendly ghosts or druids. The air is pure. We stop. Four musicians dressed in black, white, and red approach, offer bread, a leaf, a bucket of wine to share. Put the green in your hair, taste the sweet blood of the grape. We savor the welcome, hear pleading notes of an ancient Bulgarian bagpipe, the gaida, a sound that crossed mountains for centuries. As we descend the hilltop, the music grows, our limbs quicken. Costume dancers twirl arms, lift feet in rapid twists that defy gravity. Billowing white shirts, embroidered blouses, woven wool belts, red beads, shiny black boots. Colors whirl in rainbow rhythms. The sun refuses to set until they finish. They invite us to join the circle of dance. Our feet ride the night air. We sing, we sway. We brave the fast beat of the ruchinista. Intricate turns, breathless stomps to Balkan melodies. In that deep valley, all of us, Germans, Americans, English, Bulgarians, hold hands across worlds, entwined in a cosmic gyre of music and words. Universal language we all understand, the poetry of dance. The sun will rise when we are done.
Very good. Thank you. Now, I'd like to hear from Ellen Peckham from Sputum, Dreville, New York, with From the Gift Shop in Pompeii. Ellen?
Thank you. I would like, if I could take a second to introduce you to my subject. This came from the print shop, gift shopping Pompeii, and I thought he should
Yes, very
stay
good.
with us for a moment. Anyway,
Thank you.
you're welcome. By the way, Ellen Peckham is the name. The town, which very well, Spuytenduyvil, which was Spitting Devils. It's where the two rivers have a connection there that used to have a lot of heavy current, but of course now they just motor through it. Anyway, from the print shop, from the gift shop in Pompeii. Don't laugh. Pompeii's already filled with memories of ancient businesses, ruts of wheeled carts, wine shops, emptied stands, whores, lascivious murals, substrata of trade goods waiting excavation. So why not amphorae and piping pans of various sizes, priced accordingly? Chemically patinaed and showing rough seams from the molds, they reproduce quite faithfully the little earthen goddesses respectfully rank on rank in provincial museums. Rough too, roughly classical, marketed in the old era for devotions. Available in various sizes, priced accordingly. Plus ça change. We buy a selections of goat hoofed pans, though at factory made, they do recall the Bacchic charm of their archetypes. And here they're right at home. This one pipes the sky and skylines, praises modern city, modern commerce, prancing giddily on a New York office tower's window ledge. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Romeo Alcala Cruz from Hayward, California, with Ledmanan.
Thank you, Judy, Richard, and Arthur. My poem is trying to evoke that old town of my childhood in the Philippines. It's like a remembrance of my childhood, of my past. Libmanan is the town, Libmanan. I am Libmanan, my old town of the plains, that listen to the tea-bag brown birds that alight on the grains of brown palay of rice, waiting to be harvested as they sway to the habagat winds from the south before the rains. I am Libmanan, where the old train roars on my feet, blowing smoke all the way, as I am still asleep on my payag in the summer heat. I am the river town, where bancas seek the waters to San Miguel Bay, like eels soothing the currents of the lagoon, until they meet the salty reaches of the sea. I am the sturdy kapok tree that fling its cotton after the green oval fruits split after the late sunrise, to spread its presence over the land, slowly waking up to another day. I am the flaming dew-hot fire tree burning with vermilion flowers, as it welcomed the summer sun when the earth breaks apart in another warnings of drought. I am the fireflies that glitter like thousand broken pieces of glass that invite you to reach your home, your loved ones in the murky night. I am the old town that does not know the betters. Amid the noise of the cockpits, screaming on top of their voices, as I am on my way to downtown with my harvest of vegetables and catch of catfish ready to unload on my stall in the marketplace. Thank you.
Right. Sounds like a beautiful place to grow up.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay,
Share my poem to you guys,
thank you.
fellow poets. Thank you. It's an honor.
Okay, thank you. Next, Lilia Vallis from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, reading Party Invitation. Lilia?
Thank you. It is an honor to be here. I'm repeating what others have said, but I've always loved your festivals and your poetry. So Lilia Vallis, and from Vancouver, British Columbia, although I have lived in San Francisco long ago. And my poem is Party Invitation. You are invited to a party in my garden of stars. The moon will attend. Expect a crowd. A flute will introduce you. Don't expect everybody to understand your language. Everybody's a little bit different. So let your spirit guide you. Bring your wishes, leave your sorrows at the door. You can pick them up again after you leave. Dress, set your style, whatever frees you to dance. Food will be provided, locally grown, city chef refined. Wine from a vineyard where the grape pickers sang as they worked. It's a talent potluck. So bring your words, your guitar, saxophone, definitely some drums to set free souls and restless feet. Prizes will be awarded to those who make people laugh, because everybody needs an escape from the inescapable. You will be seated with strangers to discover connections, maybe lost family members. Check your weapons at the door and enjoy. You will not be invited again, not to my home. You are Special, you've been chosen. RSVP, Planet Earth.
Marvelous, thank you. I think I like your party. Okay. Jan Diederich, El Cerrito, California. Psyche and Soma. Jan?
Thank you, Judy. And hi, Natika and Richard and Cindy. So nice to see everybody again. Psyche and Soma. Deep inside our bodies lie secrets and surprises. What poor Soma lugs around, Psyche scarce surmises. Hiding well away from view where they can cause no trouble are phantoms of our opera house. Behind the scenes, dark doubles. We fear they'll take our show away. We fear they'll throw a tantrum. We fear our worst fears will be true, and fearing so, hide in the antrim of our lives. And hiding there, forget to live the gifts of play that long ago we were given to live and give away. From dawn of life to dusk, from baby door to reaper's knock, Soma, Psyche in do-si-do, seeking the key ourselves to unlock. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Ruth, will you read next? And Ruth has 2 poems, Emily Bronte and Book Ballet. Ruth?
Okay. My name is Ruth Weil-Schuler and I live in Novato, California. Emily Bronte has always been one of my favorite writers, both for her wonderful novel and her poetry. Emily Bronte, restless spirit, raging wild, tramping the moors and misty hills, a sapphire seer, singing your own songs, a tempestuous goddess, gathering dreams, surrounded by the cries of the Mohawks, beneath the early moon, struggling to rise. Seasons scatter with soundless calm, bringing snow-blocked glens, and then groaning trees bending in a twilight breeze, and the smell of heather in the air. Your long hair surrounds a tranquil face that refuses to run the scornful race of others. Your feet hover over the fern leaves that cover the earth, and autumn branches moan in the wind. Your rebellious will still casts the world away, while you convey with pen in hand words that linger long, relics of harmony and rhythms thick as stars. Pursued by unreal phantoms, Branwell gone, you stretch eager hands to death and die, untried, racing free to your own rendezvous with destiny. Dust slowly mingles with the sod. Silently, the graveyard guards its treasure.
Very good, thank you.
The next poem, Book Ballet, is just a fun poem. I'm sitting in my library when suddenly Emily Bronte bursts from a book binding and a swirl of mist from the moors looking for Heathcliff. Robert Louis Stevenson steps forth with the treasure chest, while Emily Dickinson appears before me bringing a box of poems from under her bed. Ernest Hemingway intrudes with a gun and a big fish. Not to be outdone, Herman Melville bounds forward with an Aborigine cannibal searching from Moby Dick. James Fillmore Cooper edges out of the pages of the Pathfinder and pulls White Fang from one of Jack London's books, while Ellis steps out of Wonderland, followed by Tweedledum and Tweedledee, pursued by the Queen shouting, "Off with her head!" William Faulkner appears asking, "What is all this sound and fury?" From 2 shelves below emerges Dr. Watson, trailing Sherlock Holmes, who is armed with his trusty magnifying glass. Kim pushes out of Rudyard Kipling's work, dragging an abominable snowman from the Himalayas, while Walt Whitman at midnight starts beating on the drums of time. "Enough," shouts Isadora Duncan, rising from a poem on my desk. With twinkling toes, she begins to dance. The others drop their props and join her, whirling insanely around my library. The rhythm of all these literary phantoms enchants me. So I put down this poem and pen and join them.
All right, very good, thank you. Now, Ellerine Lockie from Sunnyvale, California, will be reading 2 poems. Ellerine?
Okay. Okay, I'm Ellerine Lockie from Sunnyvale, California, and I'll be reading 2 poems. Solvitur ambulando, which means it is solved by walking. Coleridge, Wordsworth, and Thoreau could have happily walked this cul-de-sac. The simple iambic lilt of their footsteps as hypnotic as the beat of their hearts. Pace and meter passing from feet to fingertips. An unlikely labyrinth of 12 houses in the shape of an oval, where walls and trees serve as backbone. Spine a twinkling of asphalt. Mouth feeding into a larger body of lazy traffic, bicycles, and dog walkers, soon swallowed in the gluttony of a city. But in this hamlet, the palms, pines, maples, and oaks partner with fruit orchard survivors to silence scream, siren, car crash, radio blare, and tire squeal. Here, birds by the hundreds are the street singers, their voices more diverse than the French, Japanese, Chinese, German, Yiddish, Russian, Spanish, Hindi, Vietnamese, and English spoken inside the houses. St. Augustine could have written the city of God in the harmony of this world within 1 block. Virginia Woolf's lighthouse might have been lit here had she not been strolling Trafalgar Square. Rousseau and Kierkegaard couldn't write at all unless they walked, trailed by the humble words from the rest of us that sprout from seeds in pounding turf. Thank you.
Thank you.
So this is a haibun, and most of you no doubt know what a haibun is, but just in case, it's a form that was invented in the late 1500s by Basho. And it's a poem that alternates very tightly written prose and haiku in no particular order, however we want to write it. So there's a great amount of freedom to haibun, and I've always enjoyed writing in this form. This one is titled An American Haibun. Many flocks of 8 or 10 wild parrots often emblazon the trees in my yard. A stopover en route to or from the Home Depot parking lot, as though picking up supplies for ongoing nest repair. Green, red, and yellow. Packages slur the airwaves. Jingle of chatter. Today bells ring the sky from blocks away. The entire flock arrives as I close the front door behind me for my walk. The surreal surprise of 60-some parrots, bodies built for South America that have branched the skies of Northern California for 30 years. Their evolution from a few slave-traded rebels and rejects, and their sheer spirit for survival stops me mid-step. Ornaments on palm, filbert, cherry, blackberry, breeze of wings folding. I refuse to relinquish either the exercise or the parrots, so I walk fast circles around the driveway, tree to tree talk, as affable as small town gossip over clotheslines, drowning echoes of the morning's mercury, crime, corruption, jobless, foreclosure, war, news, and the crinkle of worry from fingers on fabric over a breast lump. Bees filled with nectar from eucalyptus blossoms, bright pink petals fall. Busy now, I switch to a house-wide back and forth stride. Envision that every Silicon Valley soul in torment could line up right here, like the way back to Belly cars parade slowly around this cul-de-sac to see Christmas lights. Sprinkle shower play. Parrots groom one another. The sun sends glitter. Every feather a rainbow, every squawk an upbeat, a hallelujah, an invitation to plan the next 30 years. Even the native crows acquiesce their territory to this gift, but it is I who am repaired. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, I'd like to thank everybody for beautiful readings. And I think that concludes our session for today. Natika, would you like to add any final words?
Again, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your poetry. All of us do. You know, the mission of Artists Embassy International and the dancing poetry is to further understanding and peace through the universal language of the arts. And I think by sharing our thoughts and our creativity and our beautiful spiritual and uplifting ideas and all the things that go with it to experience living in our times is needed from you. So I really can't tell you how much I appreciate what you're doing to help fill the atmosphere, to fill with beauty and love and peace through the arts. Thank you for your aesthetic. Thank you for your skills. Thank you for your poetry writing. It makes us dance. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's
And
give
thank
us a good
you.
one.
Beautiful.
It's only the second time it's ever been performed, a fusion of Ikebana and dance. This is Japanese flower arrangement in motion. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Takako and friends with her Ikebana dance.
Ikebana tells us of invisible things. I would like to tell you about the dynamism of Ikebana. My artistry is Ikebana artistry. The branches, leaves, flowers, roots, water, and more force us to notice the spaces as well as the object itself. Not just a sense of beauty, but an intangible sense of the possibilities of physical space. Environments in which we observe the Ikebana arrangement are possibilities, expanding our consciousness, important to Ikebana as works of art. Like jumping through the end of a tunnel into an open space of the sky. Asymmetrical, three-dimensional, creative tension between object and space. This creates dynamism in the viewing. I play, enjoy the moment. My imagination takes the lead. I notice shining leaves and imagine them dancing with a tiny wind, the sound they might make, or their fresh green smell. I play with finding places where branches enliven the space. I explore my imagination. Many sensory, non-verbal meanings pass logical, everyday understanding. Just as each moment of life has a felt sense of possibilities, each branch or flower is not just a branch or a flower, but has numerous impressions to make on the observer: location, angle, perspective, surroundings, broaden experience, and the observer. Dynamism in a moment, as one sees an Ikebana arrangement, a kind of blooming first impression. Then one notices the flowers, petals, and leaves changing. Simplicity as a haiku poem. Limited materials, properly arranged, create profound dynamism, a moment of noticing the previously unnoticed. In Ikebana, less is more. This is ultimate beauty. One branch or one leaf has the power to grab the surrounding energy and become most meaningful. One blossom has power. One leaf has dynamic power. One small branch has dynamic power.
Tambourines live for the chance to shake it up, tingle the air, perk fantasy, imagination, extend a million invitations. If you are coming, come now. Carefree all the way, enhancing costumes, radiating gypsy rapture, tambourines jingle jangle, sensuality, rashness, adventure. Tremble when held closer, circle colorful circles after flirting and teasing. Tambourines climax with a bang, anywhere, anytime you please. At ease with all positions, dancers can select. These rounded rascals hypnotize with a show of their own. Extend invitation to the devil-may-care, delightfully seductive world of gypsies. Full of jazz and pizzazz. Tambourines live for the chance to shake it up. Dancing with tambourines. Tambourines live for the chance to shake it up, tingle the air, perk fantasy and imagination, extend a million invitations. If you are coming, come now. Carefree all the way, enhancing costumes, radiating gypsy rapture, tambourines jingle jangle, sensuality, brashness, adventure. Tremble when held closer, circle colorful circles after flirting and teasing. Tambourines climax with a bang, anywhere, anytime they please. At ease with all positions, dancers can select. These rounded rascals hypnotize with a show of their own. Extend invitation to the devil-may-care, delightfully seductive world of gypsies. Full of jazz and pizzazz. Tambourines live for the chance to shake it up. Come on, Claire, let's go dancing with tambourines.
A very warm welcome to our award-winning poets of 2022 of the Dancing Poetry Festival. I'm Natika Angeli, and I'm president of Artist Embassy International, a nonprofit arts organization created to further understanding and goodwill through the universal language of the arts for peace. I am also the co-founder of the Dancing Poetry Festival. It gives me great pleasure to introduce my husband and poet advocate and laureate, Richard Angley. Hey, Richard, come on in.
Thanks, Natika.
You're welcome.
And now it gives me great pleasure to begin the excitement of our 29th annual Dancing Poetry Festival of Artist Embassy International.
First, here is a person who has the pleasure to inform you of your award-winning poems. That's from our Artist Embassy International team of all volunteers, by the way. Here she is, Cindy Levinson. Say a couple of words, Cindy.
Hello, it's nice to see you all. And I enjoy it every year, just waiting for Judy to send me the list so I can start sending emails and calling too. So congratulations. And I'm waiting to hear the first poet, Claire.
All right. Well, here's Richard's going to introduce Judy now.
And now we present our Artist Embassy International Vice President and Contest Chair, Judy Harden Chung.
Yay, Judy.
Greetings to you all. And now I want to turn the spotlight over to the first reader of this session, Claire J. Baker from San Pablo, California, reading two poems, Along the Silk Road and Doors of Experience. Claire?
Hello, everyone. I am from Pinole, California, no longer San Pablo. Sorry for the correction.
No, that's good.
I will read Along the Silk Road, kind of a historical piece in a way. Along the Silk Road, used for 1,500 years, dancers drawn to antiquities and cosmic wonders circle in awe of ancient jewels, revel among silks and satins from along the Silk Road. Gathering fabrics closer, they swirl them into glories of Persian paisleys and gypsy pizzazz. Dancers are drawn to moonbeams as ideal teeter-totters for reliving the ups and downs of creative vision making. Ideas taking place one by one as stars appear in constellations. Along the 4,000-mile multi-branching Silk Road, caravanseries were exotic inns serving foods, coffees, spices, and merchandise fingered by Marco Polo, while essence and incense intertwined and flowed as one. Torches lit a fragrant darkness under gorgeous gems from a fiery survival. Excuse me. Seekers, lovers, adventurers along the often steep and dangerous Silk Road smartly grabbed culture by the scruff and held on. Thank you, Claire from Pinole.
And you have one more, Doors of Experience?
Yes, one more. Doors of Experience. May doors of experience open wide and wider still as we proceed in body and spirit toward the next unknown, facing balm and gall and all the in-betweens. Surely being human, we are made for such encounters. Looking ahead, the next world will return us to the grace which cradled us at birth. But we have not yet reached that full circle place. Pardon me. Meanwhile, in helping to clear another's path, believing in or coming to know expansiveness, we stand before a mystical door. When it opens wide enough for our full humanity, we enter. Thank you. Thank
Very
you.
nice, thank you. Our next reader will be Deborah Smith from El Sobrante, California. There am I.
Thank you so much, Judy. Thank you to Natika, to the Dancing Poetry Festival. Such an honor to be here with you all today. I'm Deborah Bachel-Schmidt from El Sobrante, California. My poem is There Am I. I dreamed, he said, that we were singing, that we began in unison and then, part by part, each in our own time, diverged in slow, unmeasured glissandi until we reached, received, became the next harmonic in the series. On these pitches we remained, breathing inaudibly, in turn, part of a vibrant tower of sound, dense yet open, free yet united, pure, golden, infinite. Did you know, he asked, that any three harmonics sounded simultaneously will produce the fundamental? Suddenly, magically, below the higher tones, a low bass note will appear, a sound wave made manifest by the intersecting nodes of the overtones, a gentle yet powerful ground that holds, defines, brings order and meaning, a calming sea, a breaking dawn, a moment of great empathy. It makes me think, he said, of the words of Christ, where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I.
All right, thank you. Next, we have Linda Eve Diamond of Port Orange, Florida, with Chromatic Harmonies. Linda?
Yes, thank you. I'm Linda Eve Diamond from Port Orange, Florida, and this is Chromatic Harmonies. Dark night, cool clouds, jazz bands slowly warming up. We don't expect much. Then light jazz takes a turn, turning on the jazz lights, rising up, taking shape. As a soothing tonic key opens up, the bridge between sound and sight, with bright chromatic harmonies filled with prismatic possibilities, arrangements rearranging, variations taking flight, inversions inspiring a sense of harmonically lit synesthesia, chords ascending and turning to gold, notes twinkling like a string of bulbs, all the winds swirling blues into spirals, piano notes scrolling a rolling cloud, the drums beating a lively pulse, emoting floating images to life, while faint visions of musicians side slip into softly lit silhouettes, aglow and nearly afloat with the notes, as if striking such a chord, they blend and transcend, appearing as if they were composed by the music.
Beautiful, thank you. Our next reader is Evie Grubb, El Cerrito, California, with Radar at Work.
Thank you. My name is Evie Grock, and I do live in El Cerrito, California, and my poem is Radar at Work. Simona, without a name badge pinned to her green apron, greets me with a smile at the Starbucks in Pinole. Takes my complex order with full attention, checks to see if she got it right. There is a slight trace of accent in her impeccable English. It hints to me that she's from another continent. She intrigues me, the way she's sparse on makeup, older, more determined, deliberate. No whip from my lips becomes no whipped cream on hers. My decaf is her decaffeinated. I can no longer wait, I must jump in. Can't help myself. May I ask where you're from? Romania. Ah, yes, I've been there. Her eyes open wide, questioning as to why I would voluntarily travel to a place she fled. I usually find something nice to say about a country I have visited to one of its former citizens. Something tells me to hold off. Your English is perfect, I say instead. She smiles, shares that she was glad to leave as a child, will never return. I share I have a similar story. Do you remember how to say thank you in Romanian, she asks. I used to know, but no longer do. Mulțumesc, she pronounces slowly, beckoning me to repeat. Her smile is my reward. Before I leave Starbucks, I find Simona, say mulțumesc, receive another smile with a rejoinder I assume means you're welcome, but that's another poem for another day. May I ask your name, I venture? Simona. I love that name, I say as I share mine. Till next time, I offer as I exit, confident that my immigrant radar detector still functions well.
Thank you. Thank you, Evie. I like that a lot. Now we have Diana Woodcock reading for us from Doha, Qatar, the poem, Nearly 70 Now, Still Listening. Diana.
My name is Diana Woodcock, and I am originally from Virginia, but living, working, teaching in Qatar. The poem is Nearly 70 Now, Still Listening. Nearly 70 now, still listening to Joni Mitchell, Simon and Garfunkel, still feeling the old tingle up my spine, biding my time till I get my gorgeous wings and fly away. Still seeking to step aside from all thinking, so there's nowhere I can't go. Still celebrating the feminine in nature, love and fertility, the arrival of sandhill cranes along Platte River and long-billed curlews in Oregon come spring. Still committed to taking a stand to preserve wild lands, to replenish those thirsting, to cleanse polluted waters. Nearing 70 now, still tearing up over the untimely death of an octopus I never met, Kali, who died daring a brave escape to freedom. Nearly 70 now, still thrilled by the sound of a loon's quavering, wavering call breaking the silence, still thrilled by the feel of a soft breeze as I sit on a hillside overlooking the lake, still feeling the heartbreak over the news of the latest war atrocities, Russia invading Ukraine, by one man's insane actions causing so much ruin and pain. Nearly 70 now, still alive and kicking, sticking to my guns, refusing to become numb, believing more than ever we shall overcome someday. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We come now to Ann Bonner, Melbourne, Florida. Life is good.
Hello, I am Ann Bonner, a fifth generation Floridian, and I live in beautiful Suntree, Melbourne, Florida. I've lived all over the world with my fighter pilot husband, and I'm delighted to be back. My poem's purpose is to empower girls to be all they can be through dance and poetry. The title of my poem is Life is Good. Hip, hop, hop, hip, none of your lip. Now, cup your ears and listen good. There's life out of the neighborhood. You are sassy, ever so cute. The good life is waiting for you. Study, learn all there is to know. Lots of book smarts help you to grow. Singing, dancing, music and air. Travel through life with grace and flair. Reach for the stars, ride a moonbeam. The world is yours. Follow your dream. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good. I hope all the young girls listen and take heed. It's now my pleasure to introduce Elizabeth Palais Norris from Oakland, California, with A Neighbor Walk and Renewal. Elizabeth?
I'm Elizabeth Palais Norris from Oakland, California. A Neighborhood Walk. The pandemic confines me to a daily walk. No more gym. My quiet neighborhood. It's spring now. Giant eucalyptus trees perfume the air, yet remind me of the danger of fire and thick smoky skies from last year's firestorms up north. Bathe the heavens, a cloudless clear blue, sun-kissed, call me to contemplate the grandeur of our home planet. The breeze soft and welcoming, not yet the wind that has been wild of late. I pass gardens with daisies and roses that have burst forth gloriously in a riot of color. Lemons and oranges dangle from branches just out of reach. Birch and willow trees sway lightly, not yet bowing in obeisance. Peace shatters. That same shiny black crow caws loudly, perched on the same telephone line. He sometimes gets an answer from his girlfriend, I suppose, across the street on another line. No need for a cell phone. Sometimes it seems like they're arguing, annoying the two blue jays in the pine tree, disturbed by their own conversation interrupted, not noticing the squirrel hurriedly nibbling on a purloined apricot. Then Cujo barks playfully across the street, happily joining the din as Player and Frisco respond in kind. Then all is silent, except for the padding of my feet on the pavement. Emboldened, 12 wild turkeys troop boldly toward me, veer on the path as if to ring Alice's front doorbell. Unanswered, they fly to her roof, strutting and sashaying as if to say, "You can't catch us." The wonderful consequence of forced isolation emerges as newfound neighbors take walks too. Though socially distanced, we wave, we chat, come to know each other and their kids and their dogs. I've come to appreciate the mosaic of our little cosmos, the fragility of life that can be cut off in an instant, the time to stop and treasure little moments, to enjoy the light and share it, and curse the darkness.
Very nice, thank you. And you have one more, renewal?
Yes, renewal was written during that small window when the California drought was over again. We're back to conserving water in ways big and small. Renewal. First, the earth lifts her parched, cracked lips skyward, welcoming the torrent gushing from the firmament above, reminiscent of the deluge. Gusty winds exhale havoc amid swollen dams and rising rivers, signaling the demise of the long drought as California celebrates. Green hills roll out their carpets, greet smiling daisy weeds that sprout spontaneously. A riot of wildflowers, golden poppies, and pink plum blossom showers rise from their sleep once again. I'd like to believe that my muse, like a spring meadow, blooms with sunshine and butterflies, creating a Camelot of poetry.
Thank you. Quite wonderful. I now am very pleased to introduce Elaine Sassman from Rockville, Maryland. She has two poems, Woman at Jerusalem's Western Wall, and one of our three grand prize winners, Something Blue for My Daughter-in-Law, A Blessing. Ellen?
Thank you. I'm Ellen Sassman from Rockville, Maryland, and I wanted to thank everyone associated with the Dancing Poetry Festival for all their hard work and for including me. And I wanted to thank all my fellow poets for being part of this. Woman at Jerusalem's Western Wall. My forehead pushes against limestone, bared blocks push back, thickest parts of skull and wall, polished flint striking flint, burnished from hard rubbing or an ecumenical battering. The touch is cold, but afternoon sun warms exposed rock and my cloaked shoulders. Moon fields half lit, half dark. Frenzied worshipers chant, dance in circles, a babble of languages and steps. Vibrations quake ground and air. They pulse through us, through the old city's quarters. No telling where one ends and another begins. My mind moves in ways my lips dare not. Abraham, Moses, Jesus, Mohammed, crushed together, shuddering, embracing, spinning at a frequency to message the heavens. Pulled by the stars, bodies accelerate, levitate. Doves hover, disappear, shedding blessings across time. Seconds pass, maybe centuries, before we wash each other's feet. Thank you. Something blue for my daughter-in-law, a blessing. Something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. I want to make something blue for her to wear, a wreath of hyacinths to brave the waves of her long hair, a supple mask to catch her breath, a knitted scarf to warm her slender neck, some piece to hold, to protect, to share. A blue as sacred as the biblical, covering the covenant's ark, the formula for ancient Hebrew's secret dye forgotten, except for the boiled blood of snails. A cloth that can't be torn but spreads, a diaspora of blue, woven from strands of the first day's light and dark, and the second day's ocean and firmament, a disguise to baffle the evil eye, an amulet for fealty because she cries easily. Her tears filter down the blue margins of her page of inked boughs, smudging her blued love. And there are tears in my son's pale eyes, in whose gaze she resides, a favored place, a shade that varies with sea and sky, changing with the weather, from orchid to bluebell, iris to larkspur to violet, a blue to make her love me or thank me, or at least forgive me, a blue girl too. They circle inside the song of 7 marriage blessings, but there is no blessing for blue. I make the one for rainbows, a promise of blue. And thank you.
Thank you very much. That was wonderful, all of you.
Something blue for my daughter-in-law, a blessing. Something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. I want to make something blue for her to wear. A wreath of hyacinths to brave the waves of her long hair. A supple mask to catch her breath. A knitted scarf to warm her slender neck. Some peace to hold, to protect, to share. A blue as sacred as the biblical, covering the covenant's ark, the formula for ancient Hebrews' secret dye, forgotten, except for the boiled blood of snails, a cloth that can't be torn but spreads, a diaspora of blue, woven from strands of the first day's light and dark and the second day's ocean and firmament. A disguise to baffle the evil eye, an amulet for fealty, because she cries easily. Her tears filter down the blue margins of her page of inked vows, smudging her blued love. And there are tears in my son's pale eyes, in whose gaze she resides. A favored place, a shade that varies with sea and sky, changing with the weather, from orchid to bluebell, iris to larkspur to violet, a blue to make her love me or thank me or at least forgive me, a blue girl too. They circle inside the song of 7 marriage blessings, but there is no blessing for blue.
I make the one for rainbows, a promise of blue. They circle inside the song of 7 marriage blessings, but there is no blessing for blue. I make the one for rainbows, a promise of blue. A promise of blue.
I'm so glad that you had the opportunity to actually demonstrate how vast and medicinal in a way and supportive poetry can be and has been forever.
Oh, some of our members have even mentioned this is that which helps them keep balanced, keep on the right track. Poetry is their go-to friend to discuss and try to work things out. And I totally agree with that concept. I find it invaluable not only to have my poet friends to talk to unburden myself and look for the ways that we can deal with these situations that may not please us so much, but we also have the product that we can give to others to help them. Here's my poetry. Here's a way to deal with the world. Here's a problem. Here's a new way to think about it, especially since we include the artistic side.
Oh, the arts and the photography makes such a difference. And I really appreciate it. So thanks so much, Judy, for trying to share all of these opportunities to see and take in all this thought, action, artistry, and glories of poetry. So I have to say thanks for all that service of creating another anthology. I was going to say, you know, it's a never-ending flow, like your river of stars, that the opportunity is there, but to get it actually created so that you can hold it in your hand is it's a big bonus.
Oh, I forgot one of the titles, one of the most important ones, and it's Combining Muses. That comes in after Living with Love. And that is one where we somebody shows a picture or a mask or whatever, a dance. In many cases, some are grand prize winnings from past years of the dancing poetry, and then the poem that goes with it. And some are just like a poem about music and drum beats and stuff, but there's all sorts of different means of combining muses. I forgot that one in my list of discussions. So, it's just so rich and
we're so particularly attuned to anything about the muses and the creativity about muses. I'm so glad you added that in. Thank you again. And thanks for the efforts. We both, of course, are involved in creating books. And we're so glad that so many people are still not only love books, but motivated now to write them and share in more ways because of how the atmosphere has changed with publication. So I'm so happy to say that this is what your third or fourth book in the last couple of years that has just reached out so beautifully with commentary. And that was the other issue I wanted to talk about. Each one of your chapters, you got formidable poets to write an introduction to each one of the Oh, it's so amazing.
Yeah,
And I got to read a couple of them. And because you've asked different people to help edit.
Mhm.
And gee, the introductions are very exciting.
Right, for each topic, there's the section title, and then one of the Poets of the Vineyard, who's included in the section and many other places in the book, will write a prose piece about that topic and how it relates to poetry with themselves or whatever. So we have prose, we have one, it's not a chapter heading, but it's editor of an e-magazine, and sometimes she puts it in print, for what she does and how she assists poets through publication of their works. And I mean, we have just a variety. I consider these as being related to poetry and of interest to poets. So that's how
It's formidable. It's another extra bonus tasty bit. That's so great, so informative, because each one of them have something very interesting, if not eye-opening to say.
Yes.
So I again congratulate you on bringing together all this work and putting it in such a format that is so appealing and so different. I can't wait for everybody to share it with you.
No,
Thanks
thank you.
again, Judy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dance of Atoms. At the piano, I play Chopin's Berceuse. The right hand elaborates a melody the way bobbin thread spins filigree lace. The left repeats 4 notes, the same throughout, a lullaby. My hands, like my body, churn atoms. This invisible smithy summoned Chopin's melody, penned over a century ago, full of turns, trills, ornaments, to evoke bel canto singing. The dance of my hands becomes a dance of my wholeness. I touch white ivory, black wooden keys to strike strings, make atoms of sound vibrate. My fingers on point for tone, my feet adroitly tap pedals. Like a human breath, a musical phrase rises, falls. Another answers. A wistful conversation ends as notes like a waterfall cascade across the keyboard. The piano's body shivers. Tips of fingers sail off keys breathlessly. Dreamy sensations hover at the window of sleep. Far off, tiny bells ring, the sound of stars twinkling. Atoms tiptoe in harmony, a smooth choreography that closes eyelids. Clouds climb over the moon and dissolve. Whiffs of lavender float over a cradle. Chopin, hard at work, dips his pen into ink, dabs black marks to croon a mesmerizing lullaby. Dance of Atoms. Through you. What wants to be spoken through you? Does the grace of the ineffable choose you with the clear poignancy of love, using your voice to bring messages that lift up all around you with hope? Through you. What wants to be spoken through you? Does the grace of the ineffable choose you with the clear poignancy of love, using your voice to bring messages that lift up all around you with hope? What wants to be spoken through you? Will you allow the resonance of divinity to call forth the sacred in all things, naming the presence of Goddess, sheltered within your truest heart? What wants to be spoken through you? Are you willing to embrace your fear, taming it with recognition and courage, so that you can speak to create a reality born in the fires of acceptance and compassion. What wants to be spoken through you when the inevitable pain of loss is ready to be transformed in the alchemy of joy? Can you allow yourself to claim the words and bring it to all with ears to hear? Through you. The Beauty Road. The earth is a house of paintings, waiting for you to translate them onto canvas, paper, stones. Walking the beauty road for years, you've caught the visions before they could fly, held them in the fingers of your heart, touched and been touched in return. Leaving a trail of images for people to discover, you've reached Land's End at the shore of the sea. The journey has taken so long, it is night. Along the way, you've left most of what you brought. Shoes, clothes, beliefs, easel, brushes, colors. A great moon rises over the horizon, casting a silver ladder all the way to your feet. You're the new road stretching past the visible, stepping on the shining bridge, you walk in the house of waters, placing each step on a luminous track. The Beauty Road.
Hello again, I'm Natika Angley, and this is Richard Angley, and we are the poet and the dancer. And it gives me such great pleasure to have submitted yet another book. This one is called The Marriage of Poetry and Dance, and it is currently in the proof stage, and it's coming right now. And I'd like to just give you a taste of a few paragraphs, if you'll share it with us. Poetry loves dance, dance loves poetry. A harmonious meld of dance and poetry and the art of becoming one suggests a shared dream of intention and courage. The dream and hope for the dream becomes a marriage of words and motion. As poetry loves dance and dance loves poetry, the idea of the partnership extends to meanings, developments, connections, and relationships. Inherent in the presence of the literary, philosophical, and dramatic content, the essence seeks a safe haven in a compatible originality and creativity.
Thanks, Natika. The rise of the spoken word, the rise of the spoken word poetry, poetry in the service of performance, is on a course to expand awareness and appreciation of the way we move and see others moving, emoting, engaging, co-creating, and collaborating. According to the web, over 1,500 colleges and universities have instituted multidisciplinary and program with arts, including poetry melded together with dance. Our own classes and specialty workshops of poetic dance have been offered for many years. Introduction, classes, workshops, and inclusive performances shared at international events, recreation departments, dance festivals, and several local Bay Area locations continue this outreach.
Our Poetic Dance Theater Company maintains the stature of the only company that we know of which is dedicated entirely to poetry and dance as a unified art form. It has been active in performance for more than 40 years.
Thank you, Natika. And please enjoy our upcoming book, The Marriage of Poetry and Dance. Thank you.
Thank you. Dancing dynamism. The spirit dreams the dance of the poem. Awakening consciousness flows. Literature and philosophy share impressive effects. Combine spirit, body, heart, and mind. What is space? The dynamic question. Artfully answered, something to dance in. Our dancing atoms take the space, swirl, and relate. Dynamism, from you, through you, explain and measure. Significance of every gesture. Spirit speaks. Our universe is moved to dance. Emotion, expression, and devotion flow. The liquid music of joy and tears. Streaming from our stars, we acquired the title of influence, a name proclaimed by the ancients. It's called to affect the dreams of the eons. Energy or force as opposition to mass or motion serves as formula for all phenomena. Kinetic theory heats the stage. Responsive attractions engage. Our dancing molecules combine, shading intensities ignite. Passions flame. Affinities and symphonies memorize the mystery. We honor remembrance, resolve, evolve, envision the future, space, existence, and infinity. Dancing dynamism responds to the question, what is space? An excellent answer. Something to dance in.